Virtual reality has come a long way in the past few years. Competitors have stepped up and prices have gone down. So it makes you wonder, is VR actually worth buying? To figure out if they're worth the money now, we need to talk about the improvements that have been made in recent years. Field of view is a huge issue with older VR headsets. FOV is the degree at which you can see the screen in the goggles. The reason why this is a big deal is the more narrow field of view you have, the more it feels like you're looking at a screen, unless you're actually present in virtual reality. Along with the FOV increases, we've seen a massive increase in resolution in hertz, which will help with a more fluid and immersive feel. The final major improvement is the VR gaming library. Over the past year or so, we've seen a ton of popular titles get introduced into the virtual reality space, and there are plenty more that will arrive in the coming months, especially with the introduction of PlayStation VR 2. With the big improvements out of the way, we need to see if you should buy a VR headset. First thing we need to look at is the functionality of VR itself. In most cases, headsets and controllers can be bought separately. So if you're looking for a racing sim headset, you might not need to spend the extra money on the bundle with the controllers. For a more active game like Beat Saber, you'll need a controller and a fairly large playing area. But if space really isn't a concern, we can go into the different types of VR headsets, which can get a little confusing. The HTC Vive Pro 2, the PlayStation VR, and the Valve Index are tethered headsets, meaning you'll need either a PC or a console for it to actually work. But there are standalone VR headsets like both these models from Oculus that can be used with or without a PC. These are considered all-in-one headsets. Here's a breakdown of some of the most popular headsets that are either tethered or all-in-one units. Once you decide what type of VR headset you're going to get, you need to look at what games each of these headsets offer. Although VR gaming libraries have increased in size over the past few years, it still fails to hold a large market share in something like the Steam library. Even still, the Steam library currently has the most VR titles. The Oculus Quest Store and the PlayStation Store lag slightly behind. But we can expect more developers to get involved with the new PlayStation VR 2. A big topic we need to bring up is cost. Although it has gotten better over the years, VR is a pretty expensive hobby. Looking at some different models, the price of VR headsets can vary widely, with some of the higher-end models such as the HTC Vive Pro 2, the Valve Index, and the MetaQuest Pro costing upwards of $1,000. With that being said, there are more affordable options, such as the models from the PlayStation VR and the MetaQuest 2. The second-hand market is always an option, but we'll leave that for you to decide. The future of VR is definitely worth looking forward to. We've already seen vast improvements in VR technology. With that being said, if you're really interested in VR, you should get it now. But if you're on the fence, it doesn't hurt to wait a year or two for the technology to advance just a little further.